Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're switching gears a little bit. As you can see, we are in a tub shower. And this video is going to be about replacing the trim from the shower head to the handle to the faucet. Originally, I was just thinking this was screw off the old stuff, screw on the new stuff job. But as I started, one of the first things I noticed is, and you can see it without the square, look how not straight that is. Well, the faucet also reflects that, believe it or not, when you put it on there, so it doesn't sit straight. And the next thing is the mixing valve up here is not aligned in the hole at all. And then also I'm able to do all of this. There is no blocking behind this, so we're going to be fixing that. But the final nail in the coffin for this was the kit that we had purchased years ago was from a different company than this kit. So you can see the handle for the mixing valve has two flats, ground on either side. Well, this is the new mixing valve, and you can see it is splined. So the new handle won't go on that mixing valve even if I want to. And because the handle won't go on that, it's not blocked up, it's soldered poorly, and this piece for this faucet isn't square, I've decided I'm going to replace the mixing valve and fix everything so that it's actually securely held in place. So if we go around the back side here, I have the wall cut open and you can see what we're talking about here. The pipes are all bent. They're not sitting on anything. This isn't screwed into anything. It's all melted. To start, our new valve has a faceplate that looks like this, and we have a hole that looks like that. So I'm gonna have to cut the fiberglass to match this new faceplate. But before I can do that, I gotta pull this mixing valve out. So I need to shut the water off, and then we can cut the pipes and go from there. All right, so I got the water shut off to this room and the upstairs bathroom. And I don't have a handle, so I clamped a pair of vice grips onto the mixing valve. And I put a bucket underneath this faucet just because I don't want to be stepping in water in the tub while I'm working here today. So let's see if I can crack this open and bleed the water off. So essentially what's happening is all the water that's above us right now is pushing downward from all those pipes, and it's pushing down and it's coming up through these feed pipes and into here, even though the water's off. That's why it's running. So as soon as all that water's finished pushing down, we're not going to have any water. We'll have water up to here, I guess, because that's going to be the line at which everything sets. So we'll have a little bit of water when we cut these off, but the idea is that we don't have all of that water gushing out of these pipes when we cut them and running down into the wall. All right, it's been about 5 minutes and we're at a drip now, so I'm gonna go ahead and start working. All right, so I just have one of these little pipe cutters. I think it was like 10 bucks. They're pretty handy for getting in tight spaces like this. They're not great for doing like big jobs or jobs where you actually have space to work, but space where there's not a lot of a gap here. Like, you know, there's maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch there. This is a great tool for that. And that's how you cut that pipe. Next, I'll cut the tub. And that's all the water just draining from this part up. I am going to wick some more of this water out because I want this to be kind of dry when I get to soldering in here. So I traced out the plastic shroud here, and I just stuck it over the hole that existed, tried to find kind of even top and bottom, and then I put a level on it, and then I just traced around the outside. So now I have to try and cut this out, and I am going to try using a Dremel with I think it's called like a roto zip. It's basically like a drill bit, but it's made to cut sideways, so we'll see what that looks like. And these are the bits I was talking about. Used them on drywall. I'm skeptical about how they're gonna work on this, but I'm hoping they work okay. We will find out. So this is the setup. I've got my little like flush mount spacer thing on there with my roto zip. I'm gonna try and zip around it. I'm also gonna try and vacuum while I do this to keep the dust down because I don't want to be getting a bunch of fiberglass dust everywhere. Finally, respirator, glasses. Definitely want to wear something to catch those particles so you're not breathing in the dust that comes off of this. I'm going to try and set up a shot because I definitely can't carry the camera while I'm doing this, but we'll see what I can do. So I decided to move this next operation to the garage just because I have a nice workspace to work on, and also it's not quite as cramped. So the more I can do out here, the better, and then I can just bring it inside and do my final soldering. So this is our new mixing valve, and you can see I've got these pieces on here that I just picked up the other day. Now what we want to do is we want to connect these all in such a way that these pipes go down like this. This one goes straight down to the tub, and this one will go up. Now, I'm going to be reusing the existing shower pipe because I didn't want to cut the wall all the way out, and that piece is actually blocked in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder a stubby piece onto this, and then I'll have to cut it when we get inside and put a coupler on there to connect it. And likewise with these, I'm going to solder pipes onto these, and then elbows down, and then pipes onto that, and I'm just going to leave them a little bit long, and then they can be cut when we get inside to match the pipes that exist there. And then for this pipe, I am going to be doing a full new drain pipe. So I am going to sweat this joint in once we get inside, and I have a final length on that pipe. So to start, I'll do this one first because it should be the easiest and it's a good way to warm up. To start with, you want to clean out everything, even these brand new pieces. You want to make sure that they're good and clean. And you see how rough and scuffed up the inside of that is now. It's a little dull, it's not quite as shiny. That's what you want because that's what the solder is going to stick to. And then to clean up this pipe, a lot of people use like emery cloth. I don't have any. I just have some 220 grit sandpaper here, so I'm just going to take this and you can see the difference there. And I like to do a test fit with these two pieces. That looks pretty good. There's a burr in here, so I'm going to go get a deburr tool and just clean this up real quick. This is a deburring tool. It's just a little thing like that, and you just take it and run it around the inside. And now it's nice and smooth. My flux is getting a little bit old and gnarly, but that's okay. It'll work for now. So I like to flux the inside of the fitting first, because as you can see the pipe's just laying there. You're gonna get flux all over the place. So when I do this, I'll just get a little flux on the inside here. And you don't want to go crazy here, but you want to have even coverage. So not sure how easy that is to see, but You can see I kind of got it all around the inside there. And then the same thing with the pipe. You only want to get the section that's going to go into the coupler there, because the solder is going to want to stick wherever there's flux. So don't go too crazy here up the pipe. This stuff also gets like sticky and nasty when it melts. And as someone who doesn't like sticky things, I prefer to keep it to a minimum. So you can see I just lost a brush bristle in there. Gonna want to pull that out. And now we're gonna take these two pieces, give them a little twist and mate them together. And now they're ready to be soldered. Okay, so this pipe is gonna get very hot because I'm gonna be hitting it with a propane torch. You can use the yellow canisters too. Those are MAP gas. They get a lot hotter than propane and they cook a little quicker here, but this is just what I've got. This is literally like the cheapest nozzle you can get at like Home Depot, and I've dropped it a couple times and it's all bent, but it still works. And then I'm gonna need some plumbing solder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a torch and I'm gonna heat up the fitting. I'm not gonna heat up the pipe. I'm gonna just kind of heat the fitting up. And then once it's hot enough, I'm gonna start dabbing my solder in, and it should start to get sucked right in, even if I take the heat off of it. And when that's the case, I can take the heat away and let the solder fill it in. So let's do that. It's probably gonna take a minute to heat up. It's a little cool today. Get the torch going. Just starting to get there. See that? Sucked it all right in. So we have two different ways to make short connections here. One is to cut the pipe first and solder it and then clean it up and put it on again. And the other one is to solder the pipe long and then cut it. And before I put these two pieces together, these two pieces and these two pieces, I took that piece of pipe and I matched it up to this one, and I made a very light score line. I think you can see it there. So that I know exactly where I have to cut this pipe for it to be the same length as that one. Obviously I could have just measured, but this is an easy way to make sure it's perfect without having to do any measuring. So now I just have to cut this off, and then I can solder on my other side. And this is the way I prefer to do it if I can. You know, out here where I have space and I'm not doing this in cramped space, this is great, but sometimes you have to do it that way. Now we're on to the step where we have to start doing our downspouts. So to do that, we're going to screw this on, take a wrench, and wrench it down just like I would in the tub, if I can. Need a bigger wrench for this. Nice and tight. All right, one more. There we go. So now, that's how it's gonna sit in the tub. Remember, this way's, let me turn it for you guys. This way's up. So, since this is a feeding line, we want that to go down. And the whole reason I lined that up like that was so I can take it and sight it in. You can kind of sight it along, it's hard to do on camera, but I'm sighting it along the bottom of this, and I can see that it's a little cockeyed, and now it's straight. So now that I have that straight, I'm gonna make a mark just so I have a reference. You could solder this right on here. I don't like to do that if I can help it, because I know there's like rubber seals and stuff in here, and you can open this up and it'll bleed off, and it's made to be soldered on, so it's fine. But if I have the opportunity to not potentially damage anything here, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna unscrew this and sweat that together. All right, next on the agenda, we have our down pieces cut. We're gonna solder on these little tubes here that are then gonna go to 45s to adapt to our existing piping. All right, there she is, sweated up. So now let's go into the house and start mocking out how this all has to look. Now that we're back inside, I got a piece of blocking installed here so I can mount the mixing valve to this. And if we go look around the other side, you can see that we're sitting pretty much flush, which is what the directions specify, so that's good. All right, mixing valve is secured on the other side of this wall. There wasn't a way to secure it in the manual, like the box or anything, so I just had a couple of these self-tapping metal screws, and I put them in the opposite holes of these plastic screws that hold this plate on. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with that, so it's on there. It's good and solid. That's all I care about, and it's reversible. I didn't damage it or anything, so it's in place now, and I can go ahead and start measuring what I need to do here, because I'm going to put a 45 here and a 45 here, and then a piece of pipe to connect them, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this this supply line here and the one that's right up in here. All right, so that's next. So here we have my two supply lines mocked out, and you can kind of see I clearly wasn't thinking straight when I was thinking I could go from here to here with a 45. Like, that's not the angle. So I had to put this straight connector on and then add a section of piping to bring it up to the right angle so that the 45s would line up. And I did that on both sides. You can see here. So this is the old pipe, obviously. It's all corroded and stuff. And then it goes up to these nice clean lines. So what I'm going to do next to avoid having to solder all this in the walls is I am going to mark everything like I did earlier with my marker, and I'm going to take it out to the bench I was working on in the garage and sweat all these in out there. All right, so the first pipe is fluxed and in place. You know, I fluxed both sides of the top and bottom here. I'm gonna start soldering. I don't think I'm gonna be able to film this because it's kind of a cramped space, but a word to the wise, whenever soldering in a wall, around wood and things like that, a spray bottle of water is very handy. All right, those just got sweated in. They're nice and hot still. See a little steam? Very hot. So I'm gonna set the other pipe up and sweat that one in real quick, and then we're gonna do a little water test. No, I'm gonna hook up the drain spout first, and then we'll do a water test. So the tub spout's plumbed in now. I turned all the water back on. We are back up to full pressure. So let's take a trip over here. I haven't finished the tub spout. Obviously I have to put the threaded end on there, but just for satisfaction's sake, that's perfect. Bang on. So that's gonna be nice and straight. So I think if I just thread this thing on here, I'm going to give this a turn. Should have water coming out. Whoa, got a little crazy there. Make sure nothing's coming out of the freaking shower head. I didn't finish the shower yet. I need to get another piece for that. But this is looking good. All right, so let me finish this, and then I can put the cover on this, and I can put the faucet on that. Well, it's out with the old and in with the new. The only thing I'm missing right now is the shower, and the reason I'm missing the shower is because the pipe that I have for this and the pipe in the ceiling are, they made up pretty well. And unfortunately, that also means there's no give on either end. So I need to get one of these. I need to get one of these sleeves without these dimples in it, because the dimples stop the pipe halfway. So you make sure you get a good solder joint. But I need one that I can slide all the way over a pipe. So I can slide it all the way over one, put them together, and then slide it down into the middle, and then solder them. But that's the only thing I've got left to do, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So I'm gonna consider this project done. This is my finished piping for now. See, there's the shower head piece. And here's my pipes, and this is the block I installed for the tub drain, and it's literally held in by one screw here and one screw on that strap, but like, it's not moving, so I'm not too mad about it. I think this is a great success.